Approximately 150 countries import food into the United States. Because of recent high-profile events like melamine, contaminated wheat gluten, and seafood laced with unapproved antibiotics, imports from China have received most of the attention. As with other countries, Chinese imports in the United States have steadily increased. However, Chinese imports have increased more rapidly than the global average. Between 1996 and 2006, last 10 years, the volume of imports of Chinese agricultural and seafood products have increased by 346%. China is now the third largest exporter of agricultural and seafood products into the United States. Because of the concerns regarding the safety of Chinese food imports, on August 17th, Chairman Dingell and I dispatched committee staff to China to ascertain whether food from that country could be imported safely into the United States and to determine whether China has taken or is taking the necessary steps to assure the safety of its food exports. While in China, committee staff met with government officials from China, Hong Kong, and the United States. They met with American and other multinational executives and news reporters that cover food issues for their media outlets. In our first panel today, we will hear directly from the committee staff about their findings. Testifying on the second panel will be Dr. Michael Martin of the Congressional Research Service. Dr. Martin is an expert in Asian trade practices and has familiarity with Japan and Hong Kong's quality control systems for dealing with imported foods. He will testify regarding the methods employed by Japan and Hong Kong to ensure the safety of food imports from China. The committee would like to extend a special thank you to the Congressional Research Service for its valuable work in detailing food import issues. The work of Jeffrey Becker is especially appreciated. Also testifying on the second panel will be Mr. James Rice, Vice President and Country Manager for Tyson Foods in China. He is an executive with over 20 years of experience in China. He will testify about quality control issues in China, including steps that the Japanese take to ensure the safe imports coming from China and the quality control measures of Tyson employees in China to ensure the safety of the food it produces there. Finally, the third panel will be comprised of officials from both the USDA and FDA. Dr. Richard Raymond of the USDA will testify regarding the policies that his agency pursues to assure the safety of beef, pork, poultry, and egg imports. Dr. David Atchen and Ms. Margaret Glavin of the FDA will testify about the process that the FDA employs to assure the safety of FDA-regulated food imports. We also expect them to address specific issues of imported food safety. Recently, Chairman Dingell and I introduced a bill that will address many of the FDA's deficiencies. The bill would give the FDA a credible start in obtaining the resources it needs to deal with the flood of imported food. This hearing will also explore whether the FDA has the system or the will to use any new resources wisely. This subcommittee has already uncovered evidence of the FDA's ability to squander resources through giving excessive bonuses to personnel at headquarters, attempting to consolidate decision-making at headquarters instead of deploying urgently needed resources in the field, and the fraudulent abuse of religious leave. Simply put, the FDA must use its resources more wisely to accomplish its mandate of protecting the nation's food supply. American consumption of imported food will continue to rise in the future. So now more than ever, our country's federal food safety system needs to be strong enough to protect the public health, our national security, and our economy. Today's hearing will discuss what must be done to make this a reality. It's the end of my opening statement. I'd now like to recognize the gentleman from Kentucky, the ranking member, Mr. Whitfield, for his opening statement.